What's up, gamers? You got TigerChainsaw. Let me share a memory with all of you from my childhood. I was in 6th grade, and it was the first time that I was really meeting my stepbrother. My stepdad, my mom had just recently gotten married, and we were off on a vacation where I would meet my step-siblings. Like, I have a stepbrother and a stepsister. Now, what's really weird, I guess, is that in life, I've probably only seen them 10 times because when it was my turn to be with my mom on the weekend, they were at their mom's. So we really didn't see each other that much in life. But this one time that I was hanging out with my stepbrother, he had a game called Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. Now, I was a Pokemon gamer, and so I didn't know that other games existed for the Game Boy Advance, but he had it, and he showed it to me, and it caught my attention. And so a long time later, I decided to play it, and now I'm reviewing it. Today's review is Advance Wars. Now, if you are a first-time viewer and you have not hit that sub button yet, make sure you hit that sub button because I've got tons of game reviews on this channel all the way from the 80s to the PS5. So hit that sub button so I can grow. All right, let's get the strategic game plan going and see how Advance Wars fares during this review. On September 10th, 2001, one day before the horrific terrorist attacks hit the United States, a turn-based strategy game titled Advance Wars was released for the Game Boy Advance. Nintendo didn't believe the game could be successful in the US due to the slow turn-based gameplay, but thankfully they released it anyway. Advance Wars was met with critical acclaim, spawning numerous sequels. Let's crank our engines and dive deep into this Advance Wars review, starting with the plot, but be warned, spoilers are ahead. The war takes place in the Cosmo Lands. You are a tactical advisor for the Orange Star Army, where you gain commanding officers throughout the game to further your progress. The entire war seems to be just one big misunderstanding. There are 4 armies: the Orange Star, Yellow Comet, Blue Moon, and Green Earth. You will end up battling the 3 other armies throughout the game, but it's all part of the mastermind Sturm, who commands the Black Hole Army to weaken the other armies so he can wipe them out without resistance and rule the Cosmo Land. Sturm used a doppelganger clone of one of the Orange Star commanding officers to incite the aggressive nature of the 3 armies, tricking them into thinking that the Orange Star was the aggressor. Now, once you defeat all 3 armies, the twist is revealed. After the other armies figure out what's going on, they all unite with the Orange Star and take down Sturm and the Black Hole. Throughout the game, as you advance to new battles, you will be rewarded new commanding officers to take control of the war. Let's take a look at a few of these characters and their special abilities. First up is Andy. He's the first commanding officer that you use in the game, and it turned out to be my favorite. He has the ability to repair damaged units. Then there's Max. He's your typical Hulk smash character who can double the damage when you attack enemy units. And finally, there's Sammy. She looks like she should be nowhere near a battlefield, but she can send units double the distance than their normal traveling path. Insert joke about going the distance with Sammy. So about 10 years ago, I wrote my first Advance Wars review, but I wasn't satisfied with that, and so I went back and replayed the game. Advance Wars, to put it simply, is a turn-based strategy war game. A hardcore turn-based strategy war game. This game is so hardcore with its strategy that the game won't let you start the campaign mode unless you complete the tutorial mode, and even that is not easy. To put the strategy into context, there are a ton of units to control. Each unit has a certain amount of health points, each unit can travel a different number of squares, and each unit can cross a certain terrain. The units are infantry, kind of like regular soldiers, mechs that are soldiers with bazookas, transporters, small tanks, medium tanks, recon jeeps, artillery, rockets, and missiles, and that's just the ground units. For the sea, you're going to be having battleships, submarines, loaders, and cruisers. And air units include fighters, bombers, transport helicopters, and battle copters. It just gets crazy from here, as each one of those units can attack certain things, cross certain terrains, and capture certain areas, or carry certain units. You can capture cities to make money, and you use that money to build bases, airports, and seaports, which you use to build new units. The concept of the campaign is honestly the only simple thing about this game. Cross the map, enter battles, survive, and repeat. Simple? Yes. Easy? No. Each army has a few commanding officers, and each officer has a special power. Special powers include capturing cities faster, moving units further than they normally would, repairing the units, and mass destruction. Now, in terms of difficulty, I was able to beat the first 25 missions or so on my own. Most of the time, I could win the battle on my first try, but on a few occasions, I did have to replay the mission. But during the last 4 missions, the game was so hard that I had to use a walkthrough. I know that's not that satisfying, but it was highly needed. Although, I will brag that the final battle, I did not use a strategy guide, and I won on the very first try. But I guess I have to tell you guys something. The battle lasted over 3 hours. No joke. Oh, and if that's not enough, once you beat the game, you unlock the campaign again, only this time it's set on Advance. I didn't even attempt to try this mode, as the normal mode was hard enough. Overall, this game took me about 50 hours to beat. It was perfect for the Game Boy Advance, and it had some really good graphics for its time in 2001. The soundtrack is catchy and upbeat, which kind of goes along with the cartoon side of the war. You don't get graphic deaths and mass body graves, but you do see explosions, ships sinking, and soldiers shooting. I only really have 2 small problems with this game. One, I would have enjoyed more of a story. The game had around 10 really interesting characters with cool designs and personalities. I wish they would have increased the story with each character and really fleshed it out, giving them interests or reasons for why they are fighting in the war. They're really well-drawn characters with colorful designs that make them pop from the screen. The other problem I had is just how gosh dang hard this game is. Look, I'm no tactical warlord, but I at least think I would be able to take this game on with some sort of ease. But that really wasn't the case, so if I struggled, how the hell is a 12-year-old boy going to beat this game, let alone the tutorial? Overall, the game does a lot of things well. It's extremely addicting once you understand how the game works, and it would be super fun to play with a friend. If you guys have 2 Game Boy Advances, you can link up your Game Boys and battle each other. This is a great strategy turn-based game for your Game Boy Advance collection. I highly recommend it, as it holds up very well even after 20 years. After playing Advance Wars, I actually kind of felt smarter. It felt like I was playing chess, and it really made me strain my brain when thinking about not only my next 5 moves, but my opponent's as well. Personally, I would like to think that I am now a warlord capable of defeating any army or foe, as long as I have a walkthrough. Advance Wars scores a 9.5 out of 10, making this a masterpiece. It is a top-tier game for the Game Boy Advance, and strategy tactician lovers should definitely get this game. So that was my review of Advance Wars from 2001 on the Game Boy Advance. I would love to hear from gamers who have played this game. What are your memories of it? Who's your favorite character? And did you struggle at the end like I did? Drop me a comment below, and if you haven't played this game, do you want to play it now after watching this review? Don't forget to like this video and, of course, subscribe to my channel, because it really helps me grow. In fact, if you want to watch another video after this, I did release another video not too long ago called Scarlet Nexus. It's a JRPG, so that one is on the PS5, and it does a lot of really interesting things for the time of its release in 2021. So go ahead and check out that review next. Gamers, thanks for watching, and make sure you play a video game today.